What does it look like when you prepare for an attack? Well, some footage from the Ukrainian forces in Bakhmut shows us how they get ready for an offensive. Let's get right into it. Okay, first, this is coming to us from Reuters, but it is training footage to the YouTube censors. This is not combat footage, okay? But what's crucial is that this is from September 7th. This is from yesterday, and we've seen that today, right, the day after this was filmed, that Ukrainian forces actually did push and make some considerable advances into Russian trenches in Bakhmut. So what we're seeing here is probably preparations for an operation that we saw just today. I'll show you where I think the actual execution of this operation took place. Pulling up our combat map, wait, we look here, Bakhmut to the south, you can see that. Boom, right here. You could see Ukrainian forces advancing and seizing this line of Russian trenches right here. Almost certainly Russian forces are dug in here, and this operation was probably to prevent them from turning this into like a super fortified dual trench position. And it seems to have succeeded. And we're going to take a quick look at how they prepared for it, right? So we've got, of course, their 113s, their Brads coming up. It opens fire. Right, and you can see the dismounted infantry deploy out the back, and they continue to suppress. Right, you can see he comes out. Right, probably checks the immediate area for mines and other obstacles. Immediately contributes to the suppression. The machine gunner gets out, deploys the gun. Again, he's being covered by both the Brad and his probably assistant gunner here, and that gun's going to open up right as the squad begins to advance towards the entrenched position. Now, here's the thing, guys. You may be thinking to yourselves, if you're a civilian viewer, you may think, "Hey, I thought Ukrainian troops are already fully trained. Why are they doing this?" Well, first, this is best thought of as a rehearsal, and what makes it different is a couple of key ways. One, rehearsal training is meant to prepare you for a wide variety of situations. Think about it as learning the principles of calculus or mathematics in general. A rehearsal is thought of as training to the test. They don't care about clearing buildings. They don't care about conducting complex armored operations, right? Because they know that this fight is going to be taking place, I strongly suspect, right here, that it's going to be advancing over open ground. It's going to be getting into a trench and clearing the trench. And that is what you practice. And crucially, remember, these units have all sorts of ebb and flow of personnel. So this squad, this may be the first time that they've all worked together. Maybe one squad member rotated back. Maybe one squad member was injured recently, and some of these people are replacements or recent trainees. There could be a variety of reasons. Maybe someone got promoted, and someone who was operating as a team leader, maybe even a team leader in another unit, is now the squad leader of this unit. All of these things change the dynamic of a unit. So you always have to be training to integrate and synthesize your new roles together. So you can see that's what they are doing in preparation for this trench clearing, and they're rehearsing their advance. You can see some units are bounding, some appear to be suppressing while some are moving, right? Looks like these guys, as we've seen, same thing. Bradley deploys out, machine gun team gets into position, and in this scenario, right, they've arrived at the trench line. The Bradley is providing support by fire and suppression along the trench line. This is standard Ukrainian tactics that we've seen. The light infantry deploy out. They take up a position with overwatch of the trench line and begin to suppress the enemy. You're going to see the other squad members come in and breach the trench here. Yep. The squad breaches the trench while being covered. The Bradley gets out of there, so it's not vulnerable. Probably return to the support by fire position. And while those machine guns provide overwatch, the troops begin to enter and clear the trench. And as you can see, they are being as deliberate as they can be. Leading with hand grenades, another tactic we've seen very commonly from Ukrainian forces. And so I want to point out a couple of details. First, as you can see, they've got this almost in two teams, like an Overwatch team and then an advanced team. And the problem is in trench warfare, you can't leapfrog. You can't pass each other in that way. So someone it has to be lead and follow and lead and follow. Because you don't want to get so concentrated that a single well-placed grenade can end your trench clearing attempt. You also see the danger. It's really hard not to flag your friendlies. So you see they're moving slowly and deliberately. These guys are all pretty good, actually. This is not their first rodeo. Yeah. Now, again, you may be thinking, wow, these guys are all flagging each other. Guys, there's almost no way to do this level of trench clearing and not have some level of flagging. You just have to be careful and deliberate. And this looks like live rounds, by the way, guys. I don't see blank fire adapters on here. So if they're going to make a mistake, the consequences are real. But this looks like a squad that has largely operated together. These guys look like pretty combat experienced troops. So they are being careful. They're being deliberate. They're not moving in haste. Notice something else. A lot of them have their entrenching tools, right? This is, of course, because once you clear a position, you have to dig a fighting position right away. So they have it with them. Just notice how much of these really unique style mount tactics. Like, look at this pieing the corner as a two-man team. That's a lot of volume of fire, but it also involves one person who has to know that his battle buddy is atop him. Notice how one person cleared into this small fighting position here, which we've seen in Russian trenches, right? This is like maybe 4 to 6 feet deep. And then he immediately turns and tries to cover this area as the other team members move through. Right. You can see sometimes you hear and read about violence of action, and what people get confused is that violence of action is not spastic action. It is moving quickly and decisively. This is pretty close to, and we've seen in videos, this is pretty close to the real pace that these guys really do clear trenches. And the idea is that you're not giving the enemy time to orient themselves to your exact location, because by the time they determine where you are, what they need to do, you've already moved and advanced in the trench lines. It's hard. In the chaos of combat, it's hard to determine where the enemy is and how to best react to them. And if the enemy is always changing locations, it is very disorienting. Again, this is really well practiced. And you see the whole time the Bradley crew providing not just suppressive fire, but probably preventing reinforcements from other trenches from coming out of their trenches and moving in to the other fighting positions, right? So that Bradley is engaging in some suppressive fire. It also looks like it's committed to suppressing and moving, which probably is a TTP, a technique or procedure, that they evolved in response to the Russian Russian anti-armor forces. Anyway, since this is just about wrapped up, I wanted to talk real quick about something I've been working for almost a year on. This is Strike Gum. It's a pre-workout caffeinated energy gum that is made right here in the USA by a manufacturer in Denver. It has 90 milligrams of caffeine. That is more than most Red Bulls, more than an Amp Energy. And best of all, if 50% of the profits from this first production run are going to be supporting charities that help Ukrainian civilians who've been injured or displaced in the conflict. So if you're looking for a energy drink alternative that isn't, $15 for two, check out Strike Gum. You can go to strikegum.com and get your Strike Gum today. It's a great way to support Ukraine, crush your fatigue, and is more affordable than buying Red Bulls. Trust me, I know. Also, if you're interested, we also have an affiliate program. If you're interested in content creation and affiliate marketing, again, strikegum.com. Okay, let's real quick check out the end of this. Right, I think it's just the Bradley, again, rehearsing its withdrawal. So, an interesting look at how Ukraine, and a reminder that training is never complete, right? Military training, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like a college class, right? Where you, or a certification where you complete your training, they give you a certificate and you never have to do it again. Military training is an ongoing process. You're always doing it because the battlefield is always changing. Anyway, that's all I had, guys. See ya.